Resident Evil 2 has been out for a few days, and it's positively brimming with secrets. Almost every corner seems to hide some interesting references, and especially to the 1998 classic. We collected 15 of the coolest examples here, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Rising Rookie. In the original 1998 version of the game, after checking Wesker's desk 50 times in a row, seriously, players discovered a roll of film with a picture of Rebecca Chambers on it. Rebecca was the medic in Resident Evil 1, and even served as a protagonist in Resident Evil 0. Her photo can be found in the 2019 version as well, but the process to get it is much easier. After checking Wesker's desk and removing the wooden box, you'll see a roll of film called Rising Rookie. Develop the film, and Rebecca's photo appears, but remastered. Brad Vickers. Remember Brad Vickers, the helicopter pilot from Resident Evil 1? He was found in a tunnel below the RPD building, fully zombified if the player didn't pick up any items beforehand in the original game. This time around, he isn't present in the rotting flesh, but there is a poster advertising a hiring seminar and job fair for the RPD. And who should be on that poster standing tall but our boy Brad? Hats off! Mr. X has inspired quite the array of reactions from fans. Some find his nemesis-esque behavior to be an excellent addition to the game, while others find his constant pursuing to be romantic. Love him or fear him, the best way to provoke a reaction out of Mr. X is to shoot his hat off. Not only will he stop sometimes and pat his head, wondering where his hat is gone, but you'll even unlock an achievement called Hats Off. Resident Evil 7 Mannequins. The armless mannequins from Resident Evil 7 can be found in Resident Evil 2's RPD. One area has a figure of a mannequin that fits easily on the desk, but don't worry, they're just as creepy in this title as they were in Resident Evil 7. The RPD used to be a museum, sure, but why are the mannequins still around in that case? ELZA Walker. One of Claire Redfield's alternate costumes is called ELZA Walker, and seems to be a red and white racing suit. This is actually a callback to a character that was supposed to be playable in the original game, a motorcycle racer named ELZA Walker who had enrolled in Raccoon University. While subsequently replaced by Claire, it's nice to see the developers remember the hero that could have been. Classic version's release date. The gas station in Resident Evil 2 is apparently littered with secrets, but one of the most notable is pretty easy to spot. Outside on the door, you'll see a phone number on a sign in the upper right corner. The phone number, 1998-01-29, seems like a release date rather than a real number. As it turns out, this is actually the release date for the original Resident Evil 2. It's pretty amazing to think about how far we've come since then. S.T.A.R.S picture. Remember the picture with all the S.T.A.R.S members that could be seen on the wall behind Wesker's desk in the S.T.A.R.S office? Wesker has a proper office now, but if you look behind his chair, the same photo of the S.T.A.R.S team members can be seen. Fun fact, look around the office enough and you'll find a framed picture of a dog as well. Rita PHILLIPS. In the room with the letter sign that reads "Welcome Leon" in celebration of the rookie's first day on the job, you'll find a desk with the nameplate Rita PHILLIPS. A few fans might recognize her from Resident Evil Outbreak, which released in 2004. Rita and other officers defended against the onslaught of zombies but eventually had to escape. What became of her is ultimately unknown. Welcome. Let's go back to that Welcome Leon sign. In the 1998 version, the sign was printed on a sheet of paper and eagle-eyed players noticed that welcome was spelled with 2 L's. The 2019 sign has seemingly been fixed, but there is a space between the L and the C. Look around enough and you'll spot an extra L letter on a desk, meaning the RPD officers realized their mistake and fixed it at the last minute. Tribute to Localization Team. Get used to the RPD station's main hall, since you'll be looping back and forth through it a few times. Pay close enough attention to the epigraph on the statue, though. It contains the names for members of the localization team across multiple languages. The ultimate sacrifice and apparent acknowledgement of their efforts is a nice touch in a game with many nice touches. MIKHAIL'S Pierogies. While Resident Evil 2 has its share of iconic characters, Resident Evil 3 gave us Mikhail Victor. As a member of the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, Mikhail would fight fearlessly against the Nemesis, even blowing himself up to try and kill it. In this version of Resident Evil 2, you'll spot a restaurant called MIKHAIL'S PIEROGIS, which offers authentic Russian cuisine. This seems like more of a neat little reference to Mikhail than actual proof that he was a restaurant owner-cook all along, but we'll take it. Frank East. What would a zombie game be without a reference to Dead Rising? In Resident Evil 2, there's a poster that reads Frank East, freelance photographer for hire. This is in reference to Frank I Covered Wars You Know West, the protagonist of Dead Rising 1 and 4, and that one Dead Rising 2 DLC. Or it could be Frank's long-lost doppelganger. Who can say? Archer and Lost. When looking through the register of people who visited the station, the names Cyril Archer and Desmond Locke stand out. Cyril Archer could be construed as a combination of Cyril Figgis and Sterling Archer from the TV show Archer. Desmond Locke, on the other hand, seems to be a combination of Desmond Hume and John Locke from Lost. What could Anthony White be referencing then? Anthony Perez and Walter White from Breaking Bad, perhaps? We do it. Before the developers ever unveiled gameplay for the new Resident Evil 2, it provided a special video message to fans in August of 2015 about the Resident Evil 2 remake. Producer Yoshiaki Harabayashi was in the video, thanking fans for their support. Interestingly, Harabayashi wore a shirt that said, "We do it," seemingly in reference to the project's approval. This would be insignificant for the time until you see a bronze statue in Resident Evil 2 dedicated to those who served the RPD, with the station's motto being, "We do it." Jill's Sandwiches. Head to the RPD operations room and zoom in on the note in the lower right corner. It's hard to make out, but many believe it reads, Jill's Sandwiches. This is a reference to the infamous Resident Evil 1 line where Barry saves Jill and jokes afterwards that she almost became a Jill sandwich. And while it could be something else, Jill's Sandwiches is an actual shop that appears in Dead Rising 1. A reference to another game's clever reference of a famous line from a game in the same franchise as the current reference? Makes sense.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.